No more body cams. Good idea, bad idea?
No, it's a great idea. Unfortunately, technology can be exploited, especially by our adversaries, as we lock down the border and increase the pressure on the Mexican cartels. Their rhetoric has already increased. So I think with respect to the technology and the fact that it can be exploited to negatively impact the operational security of CBP officers is very important here because it endangers their physical safety, or at least it can. So I think remove the technology from the equation. This is open source capabilities where you can detect Bluetooth signatures along the border. And the assumption with the use of this technology, Markie, is that anything that picked up would be assumed to be a law enforcement officer or a military officer, and that the cartels could use this technological footprint to attack those targets.
Yeah, I want to touch on the cartels here in just a second, but okay, you take away this tech, Charles, they can't be tracked. Now you can't, be triggered for bombs. Does it leave them vulnerable or in danger in other ways, though?
If the overarching technology apparatus is up and running, we know that it's been negatively impacted the last 4 years under the Biden administration. There should be plenty of cameras up and running along as part of the border wall and existing fence line. There will be gaps, unfortunately, so they'll need to rely on radio communications or other technologies that are not putting out this Bluetooth signal, which can be picked up by this product, which is called BLE radar, and it's readily available on the open source and accessible to anybody.
You just brought up the cartels, so I want to go there. We've been reporting on cartels planning attacks on Border Patrol, including with drones, explosives. You told NewsNation last night that cartels will become more and more frustrated as the border gets sealed. What are the tactics that they'll most likely turn to now moving forward?
Yeah, brute force, still improvised explosives, obviously using firearms, anything to disrupt or dissuade the military or law enforcement from doing their job on the U.S. side of the border. Now, no strategy here from the Trump administration with respect to this issue is going to be complete unless we take it to the cartels. You're already seeing cross-border training taking place between the U.S. military, specifically special operations programs, and the Mexican Marines, which is really critical here because it shows a collaborative approach thus far. But pretty soon here, let's take care of the problem here on our side of the border, but we also need to go after the cartels and do so aggressively. So I anticipate that not only the rhetoric, but the incidents of violence will unfortunately go up. And at some point in time, the Trump administration is going to have to drop the hammer on the cartels.
Yeah, and I guess that's my question here is if we're prepping for these cartel attacks and they're prepping, to conduct them, will it be an issue then that we won't have those incidents on camera if these body cams are taken away and we won't have that footage to look over?
Yeah, they're going to need to resolve that gap, Markie. I think you're right to bring it up. Again, the overarching camera infrastructure that kind of monitors the 1,800 miles of the southwest border should be there. How much it has actually been decimated by the Biden administration, we have not heard a great deal of specifics other than that the Biden administration had walked away from this layered approach to security at the border, the physical, the technological, and of course we know CBP wasn't allowed to do their jobs regarding enforcement of the law. So they're going to have to upgrade this technology, obviously without these Bluetooth signatures, which these overarching camera systems do not have or put out, so that they can keep eyes on the operations of the CBP officers from afar. What we don't want is this piece of technology attached to a human being, right, the law enforcement or military officer, where they can therefore be personally tracked by the cartels and other adversaries.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.